All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. Let's try to smooth out those rough roads. Thank you, Larry. So I do need corticosteroid. There's no doubt. Hopefully, I can get to that. What was I looking at here? Yeah, watch. Again, if they think your administration's a fruitcake, they'll douche it. Right. And again, there's indications the Republicans that wanted Elon to have all that way with Doge or Doge, whatever it's called, right, are turning on that and reversing it. They pretty much probably think he's a fruitcake and shouldn't have access. I'm just letting you know, right? And this thing where Jesus never broke immigration law because he was sinless. I explained sinlessness. Obviously, she doesn't know what sinlessness means and how it works. I mean, I don't even know why she would say it. Okay, so Paula White says that, right? But I explained to you, it's the metaphysics. Again, remember Jesus said, if you cause one of these little ones to fall, well, he was one of the little ones. Which means we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. So we wrestle against these spiritual things, but it's people cursing and willing people down and willing people to sin. Right? So in the scripture, you will see that Jesus sins. I've been saying this for years. I mean, it's obvious. Again, she's actually saying that Jesus broke immigration law, but he was sinless, so he couldn't have been. I don't even know why she would say this other than so I can explain it. Right. It was the fact that he didn't volitionally sin. His mind was taken over on the planet. His brain, whatever you want to call it. And his actions became other than what his personal intention was. So therefore, it's not sin. Again, read the scriptures. It's in there. He was caused to fall. So therefore, it doesn't count. He was, quote unquote, spiritually blind. So you see, in freeing other people, Jesus freed himself. Right. The right is a spiritual thing that's with me. I don't know if it's another person or a spirit, like somebody listening or a spirit that's here with me, because our spirit's here with me. When I die, the spirits are here with me. Right. Whenever that is. I was told they were here. I didn't know anything. So I went to a acupuncturist, and she told me they were around me. She told me, you got a lot of spirits around you. That's how I know. You see them. I got angels here. I can see them. And maybe that's the only way I'm living. Like I could be, not that I'm going to die, but, they keep me alive, right? Get my job done. My job. Now, this would have been easier 4 years ago if I could have just continued, 3 years ago, if I could have just continued in my seeking of, again, how do you seek care in Oklahoma while they're killing you, like spycraft? Again, but you can't just get up and go when you just signed a lease either, right? So when I did come here, I was healthier. I was walking kind of screwed up, but I was much healthier than I am right now. And it's possible I can get to it, but not with what's going on. Right. Like what they're hoping is I took a loan and I'll go into debt again just to get out of here. Right. So again, you need to get me my money and counter what they're doing to me. No, they're all the same thing. They're all a fake investigation. And that's how they pass this from one community to the next. Right. I mean, can you imagine denying somebody adult women and bringing kids around him all day, and mothers and agents and officers bringing kids around him, and saying it's his problem? I mean, they're nuts. In fact, I want to know why all you cop women are around teenage girls, young teen girls. I want to know why. Oh, because that's how you work the program, I see. You happen to be gay also, all of you. Isn't that interesting? Thank you, Larry. Because they knew. I mean, Angie fell in love with me, and I fell in love with her. I admit it. We had such a great first date. It was amazing. Right. They know it works like that. They know that Mr. Moon was trying to hook me up with a Korean woman, and it would have went to marriage probably within a few months. Like we would have been married. It took a little longer, but we would have decided that we would work towards marriage. Right. They knew that. No, I had something like this developing when I left that apartment. Again, just because I get sick with something doesn't mean that they're not. Again, obviously, the psychology is part of the trigger, right? Could make anybody sick, right? But they're using psychological methods, but they could also be surreptitiously drugging, right? But I had something like when I left that apartment in Cockeysville for Jim's place, I had this going on. So but it wasn't this extreme, right? I was a lot healthier back then, right? But I could feel, feeling this and going back through memories. So I was on my way, or I went to Jim's to live, and part of it I was pretty darn sick. I was kind of sick for quite a while. Took like quite a few months before I started feeling kind of the same, like well again. Right? I mean, yeah, I was out and about before then, but I'd have attacks of stuff. So again, I have Persian Gulf War syndrome. The deep state made sure I didn't get paid. I need to get paid. I don't have the wherewithal, obviously, to even clean my apartment. How am I supposed to get anywhere to file any more appeals? And it doesn't work anyway. They laugh about it. You work your ass off to get the appeal or the claim in, and they screw it up. In fact, they're projecting at me right now while I'm saying this because they're trying to cause an aversion to asking for more disability or for more disability. Right? I mean, you're letting people just destroy disabled people. And they're actually, remember, they destroyed an able-bodied person. And they'll say, well, it's because he's a criminal. If he wasn't a criminal, this wouldn't happen to him. It wouldn't bother him. They're full of shit. I was just a quiet guy with a family when they came along and started doing this. Right? They're sick. And what they told them is I raped somebody. They just keep saying it over and over again. Then it's allegedly I raped my kids. No, you did this, all of you. I know I read it right. I know I psychically read it right. Right. I'm just going to curse it now. I don't know. It could be like my lower extremities triggering my back. I don't know. Until I feel a little bit better from whatever the other thing is, I'm probably not going to get to a massage or a corticosteroid. I definitely can't take this. And that's what they're trying to do, get me to take the prednisone and wreck my stomach more. Right. I mean, prednisone might work, but it probably ruined my stomach. Right. No, like I said, when the money's on the way, I'll believe you. I mean, I have to see it. I have to see that I'm going to get it. And this isn't extortion. I've explained it to you. There's no way it could be extortion. Right? Based upon what you explained, it could not. It would never be extortion. You're not extorting us. You're asking for just payment. I mean, I'm surprised that somebody didn't try to rescue my life at some point. I mean, I'm in there getting massaged after such a horrible episode, and I was finally healthy. And I guess they said, well, he's healthy, he doesn't need massage. Knowing that it takes 2 hours, at least twice a month, in massage to keep that health. No, I couldn't remember why I stopped the other massage at the mall. I was psychologically operated at the mall. And then that woman accused me of trying to hit on her. And that never happened. I don't do that. I love being people's friends, especially a woman. And then if it develops, it's like I won't be a woman's friend just to develop into a relationship, right? But I believe in being a friend and then see what happens, right? Like a responsible thing to do, quote unquote, which they aren't. Well, I know the administration is making the wrong choices, and I don't know if they're hearing me or not hearing me, right? But you have to listen to me and do what I tell you to do. And again, I don't back everything the administration. Like I don't back that the way they went about saying that the trans people are by default have poor character. Even the scriptures I don't think say that completely. That somebody that if you consider that a sin, lacks all doesn't, because again, it's people believe that there's a way to get home by simply having good character. I think maybe you could. Again, it's up to God and how God reminds me that there's several mechanisms on this planet. Rabbi Yeshua ben David, spoke about several mechanisms of being with him or with God in the end times, or at the end of life. And one of them, you could, if you don't see it, you can miss it. If you're spiritually blind, your sins will not get held against you. There is a question, a small question, as to whether the scripture was mistranslated, that he healed people's spiritual vision. We just don't know how they communicated. Like, how big was spiritual vision? We know they speak about it. So Jesus, if you were to talk to an atheist, let's just do this so I can help you understand. And you said to atheist, what if I told you Jesus would touch somebody and heal their physical blindness? Like, well, I don't believe. What if I told you, do you know about psychic and all that? And the inner vision, right? What if I tell you that Jesus healed people's psychic vision, their spiritual vision? Possible. Because why? We have people here that can do that. I can do that. So I'm not sure, how it all went. Again, the Jews, what the truth, right? But the truth is this for Jews, that, some of it's real, some of it's not. People exaggerated here, people didn't exaggerate there, but you got to believe in God and believe some of it's real, right? So if you tell people that aren't Jewish that Jesus healed people's spiritual vision, they'll believe you. Where they might not believe that he touches somebody and heals their physical vision. Now, I believe that could happen, right? It said that Paul was blinded or something. Well, we don't know how important spiritual vision was. They speak about it a lot during that time period. Right? That may be everything they talk about. Like, oh, I'm blinded, I can't figure this out. I guess they do say lead them about by the hand. So again, it does say blindness, I guess. And I do believe that. I believe that the planet has changed. So I believe that spiritual healing could have been bigger back then. They're trying to freak me out and depress me. Right? No, I'm sensing what they're projecting. This is just horrible. So I see you're getting the military to board. That's great stuff. Right. No, I don't. I don't want people to suffer. I don't want people to be in gangs. I have a capability that I could speak to a gang member and possibly get him out of a gang. Again, they killed me. Right. Thank you, Larry. Like Jay, that small time I took care of Jay, it fixed his entire life. But then again, they killed him. No, I was right. He should have listened to me. I said, go in the National Guard, not the regular Army, because he never would have got reactivated. Right. He'd have got out, did his college. Right. Always had that ability, I guess. Thank you. No, he said, and he didn't ever. Again, it's almost like my life. He never got to be a ranger. Sam Chun, I want to be a ranger. But he didn't sign up for anything. So, what are the chances? I mean, I think they would have gave it to him eventually if he stayed in. Right? But again, once he got to the Iraq War, and that was the second time he was there, so he probably lost his taste. Right. Right. That's the point. You go to the National Guard, you can always go regular Army. I think. Right. You can just say you want to go regular Army, and they'll probably let you go. Right. So he should have just went and seen what he felt about it. Right. Probably still would have ended up doing a tour, but at that stage of the game, he would have gotten out. They may have sent him over there because him and I were going to work together, to try to smooth over a relationship with my family. He'd be the only one that could do it, right? Because he'd talk to my ex-wife and he'd talk to the kids, right? And it would work. Well, again, it may not. It's as weird as it sounds, and I've thought this before. It may not be exactly the sciatic nerve issue, but it's something triggering the sciatic nerve because of my flat feet and stuff. So again, foot spurs, flat feet can cause trouble in the back. Right. Oh my God. Thank you, Larry. So again, obviously, I needed to see a podiatrist even before, probably in Naples even. Right. But again, I couldn't get anywhere, and they blocked me. It's like horrible. Like I couldn't even get the blood pressure medicine or anything. And I would go, and they go, "Your blood pressure's not that high." But now they're telling me, I mean, my blood pressure is lower than it's ever been that I remember in my lifetime, and they're still saying it's a little high because they got the new standard. I'm like, but it's lower than it's ever been. I'm like, right. Well, the question is whether the deep state told them to do me like that. God bless you, sir. Now, I never wanted sex with anybody. Okay. I mean, I needed somebody to have sex with, like a wife. I mean, that's really science and biblical and everything else. Thank you, Andy. So I went to the Hare Krishna religion, and they kind of hinted that it's kind of old fashioned not to have sex. Like they have sex with one another, right? And usually in marriage, but right. But you're not even supposed to have sex in marriage. Because at first I was like, well, this isn't cut out for me. I want to get married, and I'm probably going to have sex in my marriage, right? And then I didn't say it to people, but information kind of came out, and they're even having gay relationships and everything. Right. They actually had that one guy step down. He was one of their gurus, one of their teachers. Like really spiritual master. Same thing that they call Jesus. Doesn't mean that they're Jesus, but other people were called spiritual master also. Right. So one of the spiritual masters stepped down. And he said, "I've been living a lie. I'm going to get married to this woman. We're having relations." Right. I just, I just made the wrong decision in life to become that person because I wasn't ready. Right. So he was a good guy to do that. But he's one of the few that say it. A lot of people live lies, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it is what it is. Believe it or not, they don't drink caffeinated beverages. So this guy, he's an older guy, and he was disabled, and he was coming to the temple, and I treat him real well, And he had been a serious disciple and a devotee for a long time, and you just treat him well out of respect. He's an older guy, right? And but he was bringing coffee into the temple, and they just like they lost it. They're like, look at you going, think what you're doing. They're like, we don't care. You go home. I don't know if they said it like that, but they don't care if you drink your coffee at home, but you can't bring coffee in your thermos into the temple because they're against caffeinated. Which, of course, I can't be part of that. I did stop, and then I started drinking a little bit of tea, and but it became apparent probably a month and a half or so before I left that there was nothing there for me. Right? I felt a little weird with a certain setup, even a few months prior to that. But I was serious. I used to come there and I used to sing driving down the road. I'd heal people using their mantras while I was singing, and right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what triggers it. It could be them. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're there, and it's obvious. I mean, they were harassing me in Indianapolis, trying to get me to self leave the gym. Right. Right. Thank you, Larry. So very easily, I could have broken into my apartment and put something in my food that I would eat. Again, it doesn't have to be those two people that were harassing me in the gym. It could have been anybody, right? That was affiliated with the actual spy masters that were putting them up to it. I mean, it was sick. It's insane. I mean, if I could get back to just normal life, I'd appreciate it. I mean, sometimes I think I can, but I try not to think that much because, again, it's apparent that it hasn't been. Right. Although I did feel better for periods of time, like I said, and it might be just getting this all stretched. I don't know if the damage is worse or not. I mean, it's just them interfering in my life and my ability to go to healing modalities. I mean, it's insane. Again, you can't know what they're doing until you can know what they're doing because it's spycraft psychology. I mean, I know they're doing it, but what are the effects and what's actually happening and how can I fix it? That's something. Again, I'm alone. They force me to be alone. I mean, that alone is life threatening. Correct. There was no reason. They're sickos, man. They're making money doing it. That's what the reason is. Thank you, Larry. No, there's no reason not to talk about it. And there is no reason that bygones bygones be bygones should even be thought about. God, I'm so sick. So sick. I don't even know what to eat. As weird as it sounds, the only saving grace I have is because I've been this sick before, and I was able to get out of it. But it was a trick bag. I was kind of in a trick bag, and I couldn't get out of it. So again, I don't know if they use something that they know lasts months. I mean, spies have stuff, right? Or like before, I was moving around. So again, they may be trying to trigger the same freaking thing. So they use the same drug or the same bacteria, whatever it is. Great. I'm not crazy. This has been done to me, and everybody knows shit like that happens. No, there is no reason. You need to kill the people that say there's a reason. You all need to do that. Because the reason is what they say they want it to be. It's just bullshit. I'm telling you. You're going to push the buttons, God's buttons, too much, all of you. And I'm not God, so you listen to what I have to say as a prophet. And it's going to, all hell's going to break loose. Again, cops are already starting to have problems. People are trying to take them out. Right? You know the cops are involved, all of you. If the cops enforce the law, this wouldn't be happening to me. In fact, if the cops weren't part of it, this wouldn't be happening. Right? And like I said, if you just would have just let me be, I would have been the humble saint of Santa Fe, going around, living in that shitty apartment, going around healing everybody. Right? But getting my massages, because again, that would have been my tie to that community. I would have been getting my massages. I would have been staying well. I would have been thankful. Right? No, I mean, I'm not perfect, but I was pretty much a humble saint, because you got to realize that they're trying to do me dirty, and I'm walking around healing all their people. I'm trying to help people eat, trying to help people that need a few dollars. Talk to a heroin addict, see if I can help him or her. Right? I mean, you're letting these criminals just have too much of our community. I mean, they could have their little, like I said, if you just had your little part of the world where you make money, no problem. But don't be hurting people. Right? They try to flip it around and actually, I'm hurting somebody. They're weird. Oh my God. I don't know if it's the cold weather or what. I mean, it's 69 in here, kind of. Now, if they hadn't done this to me, I wouldn't have to. Like, I don't have to keep that close. I didn't have to keep that close a watch on it as long as I was getting massages. Right. I mean, destroyed my I mean, I had neurological issues, and you let them do this to me. I mean, you're all sick. I gotta get online and look at Elon. That's what I forgot, that I stopped looking at him. I just wanted to look at him when I wanted to. Right. No, I like muted him because, right. It was just too much. Okay, at least the Speaker of the House pulled it off, but you have to actually do it, right? That's weird. The deportation approval rate is like a lot higher with the U.S. troop thing. Right? I mean, it's still within the ballpark, right? And then programs deport. So generally, some don't agree to the general deportation as much, right? Well, I don't know what we would do It got a weird number on the large detention centers while determining who should be deported. They're not, like I said, I guess that was what I was saying, just get rid of them. That's what everybody wants. Right? But again, you have to do something, right? If you can't deport me, you can't. Right? No, it isn't everybody's turning Republican. I mean, there's corrupt Republicans, right? That's how the system made it so long. Because Elon's saying, I guess, that everybody's turning, Scott Adams said everybody's turning Republican without admitting it. And Elon shared it. That's not it. I mean, there's been responsible people in the Democratic Party over the years, right? They're just, they can only do what they can do. Right. And again, this is some of the stuff that I said should have been done a long time ago. Right. No, if you send me my money, all I'm going to say is they've begun to help me and I'm going to be able to get forward. And that's it. I'm not going to say anything else. Right. Right. I mean, I'll say things, but in other words, I'm not going to, sit there and boast and all that. I mean, that's not going to happen. But I want everybody to know that, the government started recognizing the error, and that's it. Or they recognize it. I may even say government. Right. Thank you, Larry. Well, because, there's people that are probably angry at what's going on in my life. Right. Thank you, Larry. So again, you might get up from the anger of other people also. Again, the Lord's bringing up visions, and I was in memory and all that, and I was in the church and Grace Fellowship in a men's Bible group. I mean, it was just everything I did revealed a wholesome, honest intention. Right? Everything they did revealed that they intended to derail all of that. Correct. No, there was no kids. If kids were in danger, if they believed kids were in danger, my life would have been way different. Right? It all would have been. They wouldn't have brought kids around me. Right? Right. I mean, there's no way anybody could think that anyway. Again, there were tests. I passed the test, and then they said, he needs to be tested again or some shit. I mean, I don't even know what they did. But I definitely passed their test. No, okay. Somebody's saying they tried to hint that you were a sociopath playing them. I really didn't pass the test. I'm just a sociopath. Well, Chelsea Clinton received $84 million from USAID. If she did the programs, then that's generally how it works, right? But if she didn't, then there would be questions. if she actually did receive it. But Elon's actually already been paid. If you remember what happened, or did he lose it? And maybe he lost it in the stock market. I can't remember. No, when Trump won, he got like some crazy amount of money. Again, what they're speaking about at trusting Elon is he good intention? Well, there's a lot of good intention people, right? It doesn't mean that we give them the access, right? And I'm not saying that he shouldn't have access. I'm just clearing that argument so you can see it in your mind, right? Well, because good intention. No, again, I'm telling you, the question isn't whether he has a good intention. Right? I mean, it could be one day, but it isn't now. Right? As far as the courtroom, thank you, Larry. But yeah, that's not the question. The question is it appropriate to do it the way they're doing it? Right? And that's allowable. Mm. Yeah, again, I see the MAGA hype, and again, even if it's correct, you can't just say it's correct. You have to prove that it's correct, right? Right. Okay, so you're lucky. Again, for some reason, they're not dinging Trump for Elon, right? But that could be short lived. Well, they're having trouble with Elon, but it hasn't like trickled into President Trump's ratings, right? Well, a week ago there was an issue. Now it's so maybe they've shifted to something else, right? I'll be back. Stay peaceful. Praise God.